Does college football just need to bring back the BCS ranking system? After a lot of fan bases are stirring up controversies with where the playoff selection committee has ranked their team, some folks online are begging to bring back the old computer model system for rankings. This would eliminate the argument of a human error, like an SEC bias or a Big Ten bias, when humans are ranking teams as they are now. So, quick history lesson. The BCS ranking system was used from 1998 to 2013 to mathematically select two teams and have them battle it out for the national championship. And it used a sophisticated model made up of 3 buckets. There was the AP poll, later the Harris poll, the coaches poll, and then 6 different computer models they'd average together to determine the rankings. And this computer model bucket, this 33% right here, is the interesting part because it was based on metrics such as strength of schedule, quality of win, quality of losses. They all had a weighted value that would contribute to the ranking, and it let teams know where they stacked up numerically. So if strength of schedule is what held you back, then you could make a stronger non-conference schedule the next season. And those 3 buckets were a great way to have human eyes still matter, but it was weighted out with true data to properly rank teams. But even that model was full of controversy back in the day. There was plenty of situations where fans thought another team was deserving of a national championship shot, but they didn't get selected to play in the game. 2004, Utah went undefeated, didn't get a shot at a national championship. 2006, Boise State, winner of the greatest Fiesta Bowl ever.
Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Undefeated, didn't get a shot at a national championship. 2010 TCU, same situation, undefeated, didn't get a chance at a national championship. Then, in 2011-2012, when the BCS spit out a rematch of LSU-Alabama for the national championship, even though LSU had already beat Alabama earlier in the season, fans had had enough. They felt like the number 3 team, Oklahoma State, should get their shot at number 1 LSU, since Alabama had already had their shot earlier in the year and lost. Well, Alabama eventually beat LSU in that national championship game, so maybe the BCS was right. But after years of controversy and fans ripping on the system, it was finally done for in 2013 when it was abolished in favor of the 4-team playoff, where a new playoff selection committee made up of only humans would pick the top 4 teams to be selected for the playoff. And still today, even with a 12-team playoff, that same committee is doing the selecting of the 12 teams to make the playoff. But with that committee doing all the work, after the Week 13 rankings came out and the projected bracket was produced, Josh Pate pointed out that 3 of the 4 first-round games would have the lower seed actually favored to beat the higher seed on the road. All 3 of these situations, number 11 Georgia over 6 Penn State, number 10 Ole Miss over 7 Indiana, and number 9 Alabama over 8 Notre Dame, literally showed the lower team being favored to beat the higher seed. So yes, the committee had ranked what sportsbooks had deemed to be the better team. The committee had ranked them as the lower team in 3 of the 4 first-round games, penalizing those better teams into playing a first-round opening game on the road. So in situations like this, a computer model would be helpful to help hold the human rankings accountable so we can get the proper playoff seeding. Another great part about the BCS was that they had specifically outlined the metrics that made up that 33%. So coaches knew exactly what they were being judged on, something they're currently unsure of. And that is coming from a national championship coach who's been a beneficiary of the human rankings in the past.
What do you think you showed the committee tonight?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what they look for. I really don't know what they look for anymore. So I would welcome anybody in that committee to come down to this league and play in this environment. So it's a tough place to play.
That issue sounds like something a BCS ranking could fix. So maybe the BCS's biggest issue wasn't that it was inaccurate. Maybe it's just that it was only being used to pick 2 teams to play for a national title. Now that we're letting 12 teams into the playoffs and they're battling the rest out on the field, what do you think? Should the computer models be brought back to help determine which 12 teams make the playoffs?